Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to Season 2 of my FC25 Southampton career mode series. For those of you who haven't seen the season finale, make sure you head back and check that. I put the link to that video specifically in the bio, as well as the link to the playlist for every other episode in the series if you're not up to date. So go ahead, head back and check them out now before we spoil anything moving forward. For those of you who are still here, that means hopefully that you have seen the previous episode and you will know that we have gained Premier League promotion. We are in the Premier League, back where Southampton want to be, back where Southampton probably should be with the team that they've got. You know, we should have probably bounced straight back up. But yeah, I am happy, finally back in the Premier League. It's going to be a tough season. We've got a lot to do going forward. So let's start with what the board want from us this season. Okay, so we start off the season with a bit of a weak popularity rating as regard to the relationship with the board, but there's plenty of things we can do to raise that, so I'm not too worried about that at the moment. So domestically, they want us to finish mid-table, so they don't want us to avoid relegation. They want us in mid-table in first season. That's going to be difficult because the Premier League is a very, very difficult league to play in. If we can hold on to our key players and improve, which we are hoping to do, then I don't see why we can't finish mid-table, but it is going to be a tough challenge. We have another critical continental success. I think maybe the game's glitched out again. Maybe the career itself has glitched out. I don't know, because they keep asking for critical continental success, but we're not in any continental tournament, so we don't have any objectives, but it's still critical, so I don't know. Like I said, there's nothing we can do about that. We'll just have to try and work around it. Youth development wise, still very low. It's carrying on. It's the same objective that we had last season. They want us to have at least one player from last season's academy to play 50% of the games in this season. There was nobody really in the academy that I think will come into the squad and play 50% of our games this season, especially in the Premier League. So I don't think we're going to take that off. Like I said, it doesn't really matter too much because it's a very, very low objective. So brand exposure is low. So the two objectives that they want for us to do is get 10 wins in the league, which we can hopefully achieve. Like I said, if it's going to be difficult, but I still think we should be able to win 10 games at least, and then sign 3 players born in Europe. We should get that ticked fairly quickly because we are looking to sign a couple of players, and 3 of them should pretty much definitely be in Europe. Then financially, they have a high objective for that. So within 2 seasons, they want us to increase our club worth by 20% through player sales and competition prize money. Now, we had pretty much the same objective last season. We managed to tick that off because we got promotion, so we earned enough money to increase our club worth. So that is what they want us to do again. Obviously a bit more difficult, but I think staying in the league should tick that off. But if not, we are expecting to sell a few players, to be honest, because like there might be offers that come in that we can't really turn down. But we shall see. We're not in a position where we need to sell though, so I'll show you next how much money we've got to play with. Okay, so this is the budget the board have given us for our first season in the Premier League. 87 million. Not to be sniffed at. Nowadays it's not that much money really in regards to, you know, football, but it's enough money that I think with a couple of sales, which we are looking to do here and there, should give us enough money to bring in who we want to bring in. And like I said, there might be some unexpected sales that we're going to have to do, like, you know, like Fernandes or Onuachu. I'm expecting some offers to come in for those kind of players, even a Cameron Archer. But like I said, hopefully we can hold those kind of offers off, but if not, then we will earn some more money and we will definitely look to replace them fairly quickly. So I still think overall this is enough money for us to work with for this first season anyway. So this is the list of players that I am looking to move on, either permanently or out on loan. So we're looking to move on Ryan Fraser. Didn't really use him last season. I don't really have room for him this season, so I would rather just get him out of the club and earn a little bit of money off him. Joe Lumley is also heading out because we have recently got a backup goalkeeper that has just come back from loan. I'll show you the squad after I show you this bit. Brereton Diaz, I talked a lot about Brereton Diaz I think last season. I said I wasn't impressed with him. We brought him back from loan to do us a job in the Championship. He didn't live up to expectations, so I don't anticipate him really doing well for us in the Premier League either. So we are going to try and maximise the sale to get as much money as we can for him, because he's still a star player, so we should still be able to get quite a bit of money for him. But yeah, we are going to look to move him on. We have transfer listed Jaffa Tanganga. Now, we only signed him last season. I just don't anticipate him doing the job in the Premier League. I mean, he is 26, he probably could grow a little bit, but I just think I'd rather sign someone with a bit more experience in the Premier League to rotate, because we are definitely hoping that we can hold off offers for Greaves and Howard Bellis, who are going to be my 2 starting centre-backs. So I just need to sign someone, maybe two backups, but I just don't anticipate Javid Tanganga being that man. So if we can earn some money off him to help us replace him, that would be fantastic. We're also going to transfer this Will Smallbone. Completely forgot he was in my club, to be honest. At the end of last season, when I was going through the stats, I was like, whoa, you're still here? I thought I sold him. But yeah, we're not really going to use him, so we are going to try and get some money for him as well. And then the final player on the transfer list is Don Ballard, a youngster. We got quite a bit of youngsters, so I'm just going to send him, just get him out of the club, because I've got other youngsters that I can loan out and potentially use in the future, so there's no point having loads of them. So let's just try and get a little bit of money for him to help us put back into the squad. Then on the loan list, we've got a few players I'm sending out on loan. We've got Joan, the striker. We've got Nathan Wood heading out on loan. Larios, hopefully Brian Whitmarsh can go as well. Nico Lawrence, Amiawa. Good thing he's going on loan, because that's a very difficult name to say. Faver, he's one of our youth prospects, so we're sending him out on loan, as well as Eden Bellacore. Now, there are some other players that I may send on loan, notably Tyler Dibbling and Idozi. Those two I haven't fully decided yet. It depends what we can do sort of to replace the wingers. And anyway, I will go into what we're trying to do more in depth in a sec, but like I said, there might be some more players that do head out that aren't currently on the list. Okay, so let's quickly just go through the squad, just so I can show you what I'm looking to do in terms of transfers. So obviously we're going to put Joe Lumley up. We've already spoken about that. McCarthy's retiring, so he'll stay, but we won't be using him, because we will start with Aaron Ramsdale, of course, as the number 1, and then Gavin Bazanu has just come back from loan, so he is an ideal backup goalkeeper, only 23 years old, 75 overall. I'm happy to have him as my backup this season. Left back wise, now we've got Manning, Wellington and Charlie Taylor. Now I'm going to keep Charlie Taylor just as a squad player. I think he can still just be almost just a number, like I said, a squad player. If we do need to use him, then we will, but we don't really anticipate using him. But I also don't really want to sell him, just to, have someone just to come on in case of injuries or, suspensions or whatever. Obviously, Larios is going out on loan. Left back wise, we're going to sell one of these. Now, I haven't decided which one yet. Manning is, if you look at him, Manning is probably the one that I maybe should move on, just because obviously he's lower overall and older, but I used Manning a lot more than I did Wellington last season, and I actually preferred Manning. So I think I've just made the decision now. I am going to actually transfer list Wellington, because I am going to sign a left back, and I think I already know who I'm going to sign, but I'll go through who we're going to sign in a minute. Centre back wise, we briefly talked about it just now. Jack Stevens is going to stay at the club again, same reason as Charlie Taylor. Tanganga, obviously we're moving on. Nathan Wood's going on loan. Jacob Greaves, obviously, and Howard Bellis, I already just mentioned, they're going to be my 2 starting centre backs. I loved that partnership last season. It felt really strong, so we're going to keep that going into the Premier League. I think it could be a really, really strong partnership. We've got Ronnie Edwards again. I'm probably going to keep him at the club just for a number. Lawrence is going out on loan. So yeah, centre-back wise, we need to sign 2 centre-backs. So far we need to sign a left-back and 2 centre-backs, which I think is doable, like I said, because we don't really need to do too much up front. There's a couple of bits we need to do in midfield. So overall, there's quite a few players we need to sign. But like I said, I think we should be able to do it with the finances we have, also with the sales that we are doing. Right back wise, I'm happy to keep for now Kyle Walker-Peters and Sugawara, rotating them, and then James Bree can just be, like I said, just that squad player to cover any injury or suspensions. Belco's going on loan. So this is the position that we do need to sign someone. So Flynn Downs is our only CDM at the moment. Obviously we do play with that one CDM, and then Fernandez plays as the box-to-box and then the cam in the front. So we want to sign another CDM. We are hoping to bring back Ukuchuku on loan from Chelsea. That is who I want to bring in, because he was solid last season. If we can't do that, then we will potentially look at someone else. Well, we need to look at someone else. I do have a couple of options. Like I said, I will go through that in a sec. We've been through that. Acuna now is a player that we signed last season to play on the left. However, I wasn't really impressed with him on the left, but I do think he can do a job in cam. So what we are starting to do, we are trying to train him into a cam. So he will be, for now, a starting cam, to be fair, because we need to sign another cam, because Grombeck has obviously gone back to his parent club, Stade Rennais. He's another player that I'd be open to bringing back. Depends on how much they want for him. There are some other players though that I could potentially bring back instead. There's one player, I would have mentioned him last season quite a bit, and I still think that I think I might bring him over Grombeck just because I think I could probably get him a bit cheaper. So because Acuna then is moving into the cam position, it does mean that we do need to sign a left mid, because obviously we're getting rid of Brereton Diaz and Ryan Fraser. We'll have Sulemana as the backup, but we do need to sign a certain left mid. Again, I've got a couple of players in mind. CM role then, obviously we've got Fernandez. We are hoping that he can stay, because he was really good for us, very solid for us last season. But I do anticipate offers coming in for him, so who knows. But he is the player that I hope does stay in that CM role. We do need to sign a backup to him, but I'm not overly worried about bringing in someone of amazing quality, someone expensive, because Fernandez last season, pretty much his fitness in the championship, mind you, where there are a lot more games than there are going to be this season, was actually really strong. He played most games. He wasn't really tired all the time, so his stamina was decent. So I'm not too worried. It's just we need to bring someone in for the games where he is a little bit tired, and of course injury, suspension. So we will try and sign a CM to back up to Fernandez. We do have Shea Charles. Now Shea Charles, I'm going to keep at the club. We might give him a go, give him a run out at the start of the season to see if he can just be that little bit of quality in the backup to Fernandez, which might mean that we don't necessarily need to go and spend money on that backup, and we can focus on other areas that we needed a bit more. So we'll give it a go, but I'm not too sure on him. I've never used him. He seems okay, but I'm not sure if he's going to be the player that we want to back up Fernandez. Briefly mentioned Cam just now, didn't I? Franco is obviously going back. We only signed him on loan from Palace for the last 6 months of last season from January. We're not going to bring him back in. So we are going to sign someone permanently as a Cam, and it will not be Franco. So now we've reached the right side. So the right side again. So Bob, we obviously had on loan all season last season. He was okay, but I'm not going to sign him permanently. He's going to go back to Man City. We're not going to bring him in. We have Tyler Dibbling, obviously. I was going to put him out on loan, but what I might do is actually rotate him. I think I'll have him as my backup, and then we will try and sign someone to be the starting right wing. So then I don't need to go and sign, 2 right wings, because like I said, there's a lot of players we need to sign, so we don't want to be going round signing every single position, because we're going to run out of money very quickly. So I think we will keep him at the club as a backup, and then obviously we'll sign a right wing. And I think I might do the same with Adozi. I might keep him at the club, because I think even though he can't play on the right, I think he could still play out there if we needed him to. So I think we will keep Adozi and Dibbling at the club just for that cover, so we don't need to go and spend money on areas like that where we sign backups because we've sent people out on loan. We're just wasting money then, because we could just keep them at the club and they can still do a job as the rotation. Striker wise then, we have got quite a few strikers now. So we've got Onuachu obviously and Archer. Armstrong has come back from loan, and we also have like Ross Stewart. Ross Stewart I'm going to keep just again as a rotation player, and I've got a decision to make. So Cameron Archer definitely staying. It's between Onuachu and Adam Armstrong on who I let go. Now Onuachu did a really good job for me last season. However, I'm not too sure on his ability in the Premier League. I don't know if obviously he's very strong and very tall. Not the quickest, but he's not slow either. I just don't know what to do here. This is the one position where I'm like, I'm not sure what I want to do. I think what I'm going to do for now is focus on the other areas that we need to sort out, and then make a decision then when I sort of have to, in that after I've done everything, do I have enough money to do anything here? Maybe I end up having an offer for one of them that I can't refuse anyway, so then we need to replace them. We'll see. This, like I said, the striker wise is the bit where I'm like, I don't know, but like I said, there are more important areas to fix at the moment, because we've got players here that can do a job, so we don't need to necessarily go and replace them, but there are other areas that we do need to go in and replace. So that's, I think, is what we're going to do for now. So let's go and have a look at some of the players that I am looking to bring in. Okay, so we'll go through this position by position. So we'll start off with the centre backs. Now obviously we want to sign 2 centre backs, and I believe that the player that I would like to bring in is either Lloyd Kelly or Ben Godfrey as one of them. I think both these players are strong players. Now, there might be players that come to Southampton and want to start, so that's the only thing that might not be, the best deal to make. I think Lloyd Kelly will probably come in and want to start. I'm hoping Ben Godfrey will come in and take important if he has to. I'm hoping he'll take rotation, but I don't think he'll take rotation. I think if I can get him in on an important, I'll be happy. Like I said, Kelly, I think he's going to want crucial, so that might not be the option. So I think Godfrey is the player that we'll try and go in for first. And then the other player that I think I'm going to sign as another backup is Ben Davis. Now, pace-wise, not great, but I think he can still do a job. He's got that experience. He's actually transfer listed by Spurs as well, so we might be able to get him quite cheap, and that's the thing that's drawing me to him, that he's got Premier League experience. He's not, he's got another year, maybe 2 in him as a backup in the Premier League, and he's only going to cost us around about 3.5 million, which is, a bargain in my opinion for Ben Davis. So that's probably, I think we're definitely going to bring Ben Davis in, and then it is between either Kelly or Godfrey. Like I said, if both want too high a squad role, then we will have to look elsewhere. Maybe even looking at someone like maybe Lascelles. Again, probably not Lascelles because that pace is very bad. Mengi maybe even from Luton. Obviously Luton failed to come up, so Mengi might be an option to bring in. So he, that could be a good, actually that might be the perfect replacement if we can't get Godfrey or Kelly in. So yeah, I think Mengi would be the one we go for. Left back wise, there's only one name on the list because this is the player that I am going to sign. He was suggested to me in the comment section a few episodes ago, and I am very keen to bring in Alfie Doherty as our starting left back. He's at Cagliari. He's obviously moved. I believe he's Luton in real life, isn't he? Or he was Luton, I don't know, maybe he is Cagliari in real life now. I don't know where he actually plays IRL, but he's at Cagliari anyway. I think this is a realistic signing to bring in. He's going to cost us around about 50, maybe 16, 17 million hopefully. So it's going to be a little bit on the more expensive side, but he will definitely be a really good player for us to play in that starting left back role. So that is the player that we're going to try and bring in. In fact, he might be the first signing we make. CDM wise then, we've got a few players on the list. Like we did briefly mention that I do want to try and bring Ukchuku back in on loan, maybe even a loan to buy. If we can't get him in on loan, maybe we'll try and sign him. I don't know, maybe, but ideally like a loan. If, like I said, if not, we do have other options. Another player that we could sign actually is Calvin Phillips. Now he's obviously fallen way out of favour of Man City, so he might even be transfer listed, I don't even know. But again, we could get him on the cheap, and he will do a job as a backup for me in the Premier League for definite. So he could be another option that we bring in. He might even be a player that we decide to bring in regardless, just because of how cheap he is, and he'll give us a bit more cover in that CDM role. On the right then, there is one player that I want to bring in, and that is Daniel James. I think he will do a really good job for us on that right hand side. He can also play on the left if we need him to. Again, we could get him again for fairly cheap as well. So, and Leeds obviously are in the Premier League, so we might have to play a little bit more, but I do believe that this is a realistic move for us, because I don't think again, in real life, I don't think Dan James is a Premier League player, but in game, I think he could do a job there. So I think that is a realistic signing for us to make. If not, we could bring in Balumi in again. We looked at him last season. Obviously, he's just come up with us into the Premier League, so Hull maybe would be a bit reluctant to sell him. We'll have to pay a higher price, to be fair, for him rather over Dan James. So Dan James is probably the better option when you look at it, but that could be an option. But like I said, I'm hoping that we don't hit a snag with Dan James and he is the player that we bring in. Left mid-wise, I think I want to bring Samuel Illing Jr. in on loan from Aston Villa. I'm hoping they'll let him go, because they've got a load of players that will definitely play in front of him. I don't put it like, again, if we can get him on loan, that saves a little bit of money for us for this season, and at least then we're covered on that left hand side. If we can't bring him in on loan, we could maybe look to sign him. There are some other options. Mavididi I'd love to sign at some point. That's why I'm hoping that this season we bring in Samuel Illing Jr. on loan, and then next season hopefully we stay up and do better than Leicester, so that then realistically we could look to sign him, especially if Leicester do get relegated. Again, that all depends on if he stays at Leicester this entire season, which we hope he does, just for our own, selfish needs, because I would love to sign Steffi Mavididi next season. So yeah, I think that's what we'll do left. We'll try and get Illing Jr. If we can't get him in, then we'll look elsewhere. There are quite a lot of players I've got on this list. We might even look at maybe Jack Clark. We could maybe bring him in from Ipswich. We've already signed one player from Ipswich, and I'm about to talk about another player from Ipswich, so that might not be the option. Nanasi is another player that I like the look of. We'd have to spend quite a bit more for him. But he's very, very good physically and technically. Could be a bit better in the finishing, but overall decent technically. So he could be another option. But like I said, I think the main goal is to try and bring Samuel Illing Jr. in on loan. I've briefly gone over the CM roles by accident. So the CM role, a player that I would definitely like to bring in to to back up Fernandes if Che Charles doesn't quite live up to the job, is James Ward-Prowse. I'd like to bring him back. However, if to any Southampton fans watching, I don't know, again, I don't really pay attention to much of like rivalries and things like that in terms of other clubs. I don't know how you feel about James Ward-Prowse since he left you when you got relegated. I don't know if it's a signing that would not go down too well, or if you would take him back in real life. I don't know. But in game, I think he did a really good job, and the big thing about him is set pieces. We don't have anybody who can take a set piece very well, so bringing in James Ward-Prowse would give us that option. So that could be someone we go and sign, but like I said, I don't want to bring him in and offend some Southampton fans who are watching this, so let me know before the next episode, because I won't look to sign the CM today. So let me know if that is something that you'd be happy with and you're not too bothered about. Right, cam-wise, I briefly mentioned just now that I would be talking about another Ipswich player, and this is the man, Omari Hutchinson. Obviously Ipswich didn't come up to the Premier League last season, so they are still in the Championship, and Omari Hutchinson is a player that I really like the look of. It's someone we'd have to pay quite a bit for him, but he could be an option for us in that cam role if we don't go for Grombeck. However, I got Grombeck on the list now. Again, Grombiek, we could probably get him for cheaper than Hutchinson, to be fair. And I did say the reason that I wasn't sure if I wanted to bring Grombiek back was because I thought they might ask for too much from him. But we'd have to pay more for Hutchinson. However, Hutchinson's same overall, quite a bit younger. If, in fact, it might even be just about Grombiek. Technically, he's maybe a little bit better. Physically, they're very similar. Grombiek may be a bit better there as well. So Grombiek might be the shout, to bring back. I don't know. I'll have a think on that and maybe do that next in the next episode as well. I think ultimately I want to go for Hutchinson. But objectively, I'm thinking maybe Grombiek is the right call. I'll have a real think about it, and we'll see what we do in the next episode. If we can't get either of them, there are some other options like Brendan Aronson, Gruder, we could bring in from Brighton. So there are some other options that we could bring in, but like I said, it's probably going to be either Hutchinson or Grombiek that we do go for. Then striker-wise, then just finish off, like I said, we're not too sure what we're going to do with regards to striker. I've got some options on here. The option that I think I will go for if we do lose a player, particularly if we lose like Archer, is Josh Sargent. I think he caused a lot of problems when we played against him last season in the Championship. He's obviously still in the Championship with Norwich, so I think he would be a good player to go and sign if we end up needing to sign a striker. He's definitely the player that I would look at. There are some other options on here. I am currently scouting Liam Delap, however, we can't take everybody from Ipswich, so we'll see about Delap. Delap is probably a player that other better clubs will look at anyway, so we might not even be able to sign him. There are some other options, maybe even Broja we could bring in. He used to play for Southampton, I believe, on loan at some point, so he could be another player that we look at. Not too impressed with his acceleration, but he's very quick on the sprint speed, so that could be an option. But like I said, striker wise at the moment, we're not too fussed on, because we've got other areas that we want to work on. Okay, so we haven't actually advanced at all through the transfer window yet. We're still on the 1st of July. However, I am going to go in for Doherty straight up, because that is the left back that I want to bring in. He's the only option we currently have, so if this doesn't go well, then not ideal. I am thinking though what we could try and do is actually do a player swap. So would they be open to taking Wellington so we can pay a little bit less? I believe they wanted between 15 and 19, was it? So if we offer 10 million plus Wellington, I'm hoping they'll just accept it. They're willing to take him, they want a bit more money. I'll remove the sell-on clause. 12 million, what's that? Do you know what? Come down to 11 and let's sign it. 11.4, alright, we'll sign it. So hopefully Doherty is the first player to come in for us. We will negotiate. He's going to want Crucial. He's going to get Crucial because he is definitely going to be our starting left back. 4 years, happy with that. He's only 25, so he has definitely got room to grow, and he's definitely a really, really strong left back for us going forward. So his current wage is 16,500, which is nothing really. He's going to want a lot more than that. If we go 30 and give him 100,000 signing bonus, is he happy to sign that? He wants 37.5 and actually more of a signing bonus. If I give him a little bit less of a signing bonus and a little bit less of a wage, I'm hoping he'll sign it. He's not keen, but he's happy. So there we go, our first signing of the new season as a Premier League club. Alfie Doherty through the door as our starting left back. I'm happy with that. We also got rid of Wellington, so we don't need to worry about the left back now. That is sorted. We've got Doherty and we have got Manning to back up him, so I'm happy with that. Let's advance a little bit now before we go and try and sign someone else. Hopefully we can get rid of a couple of players before we sign someone. Okay guys, so we've had two offers here. So we have one for Ryan Fraser from Sheffield United, and then we've had a loan offer for Juan from Fenerbahce. That's a loan to buy they've come in for, so we won't do that. We'll delegate it and hopefully they'll take him out on a 1 year loan. Ryan Fraser, like I said, we are going to try and move him. They've offered 1.3, but reckon I can maybe get 1.9. I'm not going to be too do you think about this? I will negotiate. I'll try and ask for maybe 1.5 just to get that extra couple of thousand just to help us do something with it wage-wise, and they're not happy with it. Interesting. Maybe I should have just straight up accepted that. If an offer comes back in for Fraser, that's 1.3, we'll just accept it, because clearly I don't know why they didn't want to pay that 200,000, but okay. Yeah, we'll just accept it if they come back in for a 1.3 million, or if another team comes in for him, because we don't really want to be letting transfers like that go for. Like I was trying to say, I'm not going to be too stingy. I thought maybe 1.5 they'll accept it, but I need to start learning that. The way I set up this career mode, some of these clubs are not going to pay anywhere near what the board think I can get for them, so we live and we learn. Another offer then come in from 20 for Joe Lumley. It's a swap deal. I'm not looking to swap him. I don't want who they're offering. They've offered 120,000. Board again reckon I could get 1.3 million for him, between 720 and 1.3. I'm going to negotiate. I'm not going to ask for 1.3. I don't even think I'm going to ask for $1 million because I don't think they'll pay it. I'll remove the exchange player and I will ask for 850,000. If they're willing to give me that, then I'm happy, which they are. Again, we might have asked for maybe too little there, but again, I don't want to mess around with these clubs for these kind of players where I can't really get that. That extra couple of thousand might help us in the long run, but I'd rather have 850,000 than say, oh, please give me $1 million, and they go, no, I'm off, ta-da. So at least that is some money that we can get for him. So at least hopefully now one of our players is at least heading out the door. Right, so you can probably see Mateus Fernandes, I was unaware of this, but Mateus Fernandes apparently has a release clause in his contract, which Newcastle have gone and paid 28.3 million. I don't know what he's worth, but I'm pretty sure that he's worth a lot more than 28.3 million. So now I don't know what to do, whether or not I think I've got to, realistically, I think I've got to let this happen. Because I could just go and offer him a new contract. He'll probably sign it and then we're golden. But in real life, would he want to go and play for Newcastle? I think he would. Because I think he actually has a really good chance of starting for Newcastle as well, alongside Tonali. I mean, actually, they've got Bruno Guimaraes. Maybe not. Maybe he would be back up for them. Ooh, I don't know what to do here, guys. Okay, guys, ultimately what I have decided to do is try and offer him a contract. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to offer him an extension. I'll try and offer him a pay rise, because I've just looked at his current wage, 11,000. I'm surprised he hasn't been knocking on my door. He doesn't want a release clause this time, which I'm happy with. Like I said, he's not asking for a lot of money either, really. I'm surprised at this. Even though he's not asking for it, I'm going to bump his wage up. I'm going to give him 50,000 just as a bonus pay for accepting this contract. I think it's a bit more realistic to give him some extra pay to entice him to stay and basically have crucial, definite starting first team football. Whereas at Newcastle, I think he would be a backup player. So I'm hoping you guys agree that this was the right move. Ultimately, even though I'm like, oh, maybe I should. I don't want to lose him on the cheap, and I think that because I was unaware he had that release clause, if I knew he had it, I would have probably at least negotiated a higher release clause. Which maybe I mean it's too late now because I've said no to it. Maybe we'll have a look and maybe put a release clause on him later down the line, or if an offer does come in from even this season that we can't turn down, then we will still be open to letting him go. I just don't want to let him go on the cheap, especially to a team in the Premier League. So I'm happy overall. Yeah, I'm happy that he will sign that. He's happy to sign it. So Fernandez does stay for now. Okay, so we've had a couple of offers now come in. So Fenerbahce are happy to take Juan out on a 1-year deal. We'll just negotiate it just to make sure that we pay a little bit less. Okay, right, fine. We'll pay half his wages. Balakour, they still haven't decided on that. We've had a loan to buy offer from Wolves for Nathan Wood, which, to be honest with you, I'm going to reject because I don't think he'd play for them. I'd rather send Wood out to a championship side or somewhere like that where I know he will get some first team football. So I'm actually going to reject that from Wolves. Hopefully someone else will come in for him. We've had an offer for Sugawara from Copenhagen. Now Sugawara is not a player that we were looking to get rid of because we didn't really want to do much on the right hand side. So I'm quite happy to reject it because I don't want, at the minute I've got too many other positions that we need to sort out, so I don't want to go and sell him and then have it to look for yet another player to sign. So I'm quite happy to reject that for now. We've also had an offer in for Dom Ballard from Preston. Yeah, that is Preston. They have offered 1.8 for him. Board reckon I get 2.7. Do I just accept it? I'm just going to accept it. I'm just going to take the hit on however many thousand that is, 900,000, because I don't think they would. I think I'd ask for 2 million and they'd go no. So yeah, I'm quite happy for him to go out for 1.8. At least that's 1.8 million into the bank. So let's advance a bit more and hopefully we get rid of some of these players. Once they start going out, then we will look at signing someone else. And it's confirmation then of our first sale. Joe Lumley heading to FC20 for 850,000, which we're happy with. Like I said, the rating might not be great yet, because it's but it wouldn't have happened. I would have asked for 250k more and they would have walked away. So I'm not fussed on the ratings anyway. We have got rid of him and we are happy with that because that gives us some money to play, a little bit more money to play with into our bank to replace all these players that we are looking to replace. And then yeah, and when obviously that's not going to take too much of a hit on us because we have our two goalkeepers that we are happy with in Ramsdale and Bazunu to play backup. Another two offers then, this time one from Nashville for Larry Oscar on loan. Again, it's a loan to buy, but we'll just go for the 1-year loan. And then we've actually had another offer for Ryan Fraser from Leganés. I said I was just going to accept if anybody came back in for 1.3 because we asked for 1.5 and Sheffield United were not happy to pay it, so we were just going to straight up accept that. I think the more realistic move for Fraser would have been to Sheffield United, but yeah, ultimately I can't do anything about it. I'm accepting that 1.3 million because I want him out of the club, so hopefully that's Ryan Fraser gone and some more money into our bank. Okay, another player out the door, Dom Ballard heading to Preston for 1.8 million. Again, I was actually an A deal on that one, even though the board actually, I'm pretty sure, said that I could have got 2.7 for them, but clearly they're just lying to me because they're happy that I got the best out of that deal. I reckon the best possible is 1.9. Alright, so why did you tell me that you can get 2.7 for him? Anyway, Dom Ballard out the door, and now I just want to sell. If we can get Fraser out and one other winger, then we can try and bring in Illing Jr. on loan. I just don't want to bring him in and then we don't end up selling any of the other players because then there's just too many players at the squad. So hopefully we can get rid of one of those other wingers and Ryan Fraser, and then yeah, we'll try and get Samuel Illing Jr. in. Okay, here's an interesting transfer. So we've had an offer for Jack Stevens from Ipswich. We've done a little bit of business with Ipswich already, and we are potentially hoping to do a little bit more with them in regards to us signing some of their players again. I wasn't going to sell Jack Stevens, but what I might do is actually accept this. I might ask for. I'm hesitant to ask for a bit more just because they might walk away. I might try and ask for 1.6 million. If they walk away, they walk away. If they don't and they actually do end up signing Jack Stevens, then I might actually take Tanganga off the transfer list and actually keep him as a squad player. We will still look to sign two centre backs, but then at least Tanganga can play the role that we wanted Jack Stevens to play, which is just pretty much a squad player that comes on if we need him. Yeah, so let's go in and ask for 1.6 million off him. We're not too, like I said, I'm not too bothered if they walk away. They're not willing to pay 1.4, but the tension's not right. What about 1.550? Just pay me that extra 100,000 then. They're happy with that, so we're going to get rid of Jack Stevens by the looks of things. He's going to head to Ipswich. I won't take Tanganga off the list just yet. When Jack Stevens, if he goes, that is when I'll take him off, and then we will keep Tanganga. So it does look like that we are going to sell Jack Stevens after all. Okay, finally we've had a couple of more offers in for Brereton Diaz finally. I'll get to that in a minute. Let's just sort these out. So we've got the loan deal for Favre, Favre from FC SB. They're happy to pay the 1 year deal. I'm just going to accept that for the loan. I'll probably end up paying half his wages anyway. So yeah, we'll just accept that. Manning, we've had an offer of Manning from Brentford. Again, Manning's going to be my backup left back. I don't really want to go and try and sign someone, so I'm going to reject that. He's going to stay at the club. And now we've got this Brereton Diaz offer. Now, it's from Al Hilal from the Saudi League. They've put 6.7 for him. The board reckon I get 11.4. But again, this one, I think 6.7 is low. I'm going to try and ask for 9. And I hope that they don't walk away from it. I really hope they don't walk away from 9 million, because I think that's still a bargain as well. They're happy to pay. Maybe I could have got a bit more from him. But do you know what? 9 million is not bad, and we can use that now to put back into the squad, because we are actually looking to replace Brereton Diaz on loan, so that money will go elsewhere. So we're not necessarily losing anything there, unless Illing Jr. doesn't come in on loan, unless Aston Villa don't want him to. But we'll have a look. Like I said, until they both go, until Fraser and Brereton Diaz go, that is when I will look at bringing Illing Jr. So let's advance now, and hopefully they go sooner rather than later. So there's the confirmation of one of them heading out the door. Ryan Fraser heading to Leganés, and also Juan is also heading to Fenerbahce on a 1 year loan deal. So that's good. Players going out the door is what we want, because we got too many players at the squad at the minute. So that's why I've been hesitant to sign players, because I don't like having a massive squad. So until we got rid of a couple of players, that's when I wanted to start bringing in some more players. So we'll just wait for Brereton Diaz to hopefully head out the door now, and then, like I said, we will try and get Illing Jr. in. Now, we've also had an offer for Will Smallbone from Everton. Again, I'm quite happy to let Will Smallbone go. They've offered 4.6, board reckon I get 7, so I'm going to try and ask for 6. I think I'm learning. I think the board are actually asking for too much by like $1 million or so. So I'm hoping they just accept that. They're not willing to accept. Your tension's quite high, so we'll have to come down quite a bit. 5.6. No, they don't want to pay that. Right, okay. So Smallbone isn't heading out the door just yet. Okay, so here's the confirmation that Jack Stevens is heading off to Ipswich. So what we will go and do now is take Tanganga off the list, and we will then go and try and sign Ben Davies. Okay, so I was going to go and do what I just said, and then I saw that I've actually had an offer for Tanganga from Betis. I think I'm going to reject it. I think I would feel a bit more comfortable having Tanganga as my backup centre-back rather than taking one of the other players off the list rather than Wood. I don't think Wood's quite good enough, so I think I'd be happier keeping Tanganga at the club for now. So we will reject that from Betis, and Tanganga will stay for now, and let's go and try and sign Ben Davies. Okay, let's go in for Ben Davies then. So the board reckon I could get him for 3.3 million. He is transfer listed, so I think we can be a little cheeky with what we offer here. So I think I will go in with a 3.4 million, and hopefully they sign it. 3.6, I'm happy to pay 3.6. There we go, easy as that. Ben Davies looks like he's heading in, which is going to be our second signing of the season, and a good one. Like I said, I think he's quite tough. I thought he might want, crucially, once important. Again, we are going to rotate him, but I'm happy to say yes for that. We will probably need to rotate him quite a bit, because Howard Bellis's fitness isn't actually, his stamina isn't actually great. We will only offer a 2-year deal because we don't want to. I think after that we'll look to sign someone else. So yeah, offer that 2-year deal. He's happy to sign it. No release clause. His current wage is 65,000. I think we can offer him less than that, just because he's coming to a club where he'll probably play a bit more than he would at Tottenham. Do we ask? I think I'll come down to 45,000 and maybe give him a 200,000 signing on bonus. Okay, so he's happy with the 45,000. It wasn't too far off, but he wants a bit of a higher signing on bonus. So we'll accept that. He's not, it's not exactly what he wanted, but he is happy to sign it. So Ben Davies is through the door, and yeah, now hopefully we can sell Brereton Diaz, so then I can go in and try and get Elling Jr. on loan. And just like that, off he goes. Brereton Diaz heading to Saudi to play for Al Hilal. Also Favia going out as well, so that's what we like to see, players going out. So I don't have a huge squad. Like I said, I don't like having a massive squad, so I'm happy to see all these players leave. And that's a big one as well, obviously, with Brereton Diaz, 9 million coming into the bank, which we hopefully can put towards players elsewhere, because we do just want to sign in his replacement on loan. So let's go try and do that now. Okay, I'm hoping that they allow me to loan him. They're not. There goes the plan. Okay, do we try and sign him? I'm going to hold off on that for now, because I actually do think that instead we should try and hopefully sign in Ukuchukwu on loan then instead, which we can. That's good. So we can try and get him in. I'll actually see if they're willing for a loan to buy, because I would like to buy him if I have an option to buy him. I didn't read that. Did they say yes or no? Okay, we'll just go with the 1 year. Can we go half on his wage? Yeah, they're happy with that. Right, yeah, there was they did say yes to the transfer fee. I should have looked at his value. I think it was around about 10 million. I hope they don't think that's a really stupid offer. 15.4, okay, at least I didn't walk straight out of it. Can we come down to 14? Come on, Maresca. 14.6, alright, fine. Like I said, I don't have to spend that. We'll see what happens at the end of the season, but hopefully that means Ukuchukwu comes back in on loan, which I'm happy with. I think that's quite a realistic offer as well. So I now need to reevaluate what I'm going to do on the left-hand side. So yeah, I'll go have a think, and then I'll come back to me when I've made my decision. Okay guys, so I haven't made a decision. I'm gonna keep thinking about it, so let's advance. I might have to sign the left mid in the next episode once I've had a more in-depth look, because I don't want to drag this on too long. So I'm just gonna have to look. We have another offer for Tanganga. Yeah, I've forgotten to take him off the list, that's why. So let's just reject that, and then I'll go and take him off the list, and then we'll advance. And hopefully the next thing you'll see is Ukuchukwu coming in. Okay, so we have another loan offer for Nathan Wood, this one from Como. I don't know if he'd play for them really, but I'm gonna just not accept it because there was a loan to buy. I'm gonna ask them to loan him in just to get him out of the club. I think that will do. And same with Matsuki, we've had another offer for him from Girona. We're going to let him go on loan for that 1 year deal straight up, so hopefully another couple of players heading out on loan. Okay, so there goes Larios out on loan to Nashville, and I'm hoping that he isn't the only one that heads out, although it does look like he is at the moment. So yeah, so Larios heads out on loan. We've had another 2 offers, or 1 offer then. One again for Small Bones, same price I believe that Everton were asked for this time from Mallorca. Let's negotiate it. I'll come down a bit more then and ask for maybe 5 million. Hopefully they accept that. Yeah, they're happy with that. So Will Smallbone might be heading out the door now as well, heading off to Mallorca. And here's that confirmation that we wanted. Ukuchukwu heading back through the door, back into our squad on a 1 year loan deal with an option to buy at the end of the season. I'm happy with that. Like I said, I wanted to bring him back in. He was solid for me last season, so I'm happy that he is back at the club. I think what I'm going to go do now is actually sign Calvin Phillips, just for that rotation. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get Calvin Phillips through the door to play as backup to Okuchukwu, and then, like I said, we will reevaluate what we're going to do on that left-hand side at the beginning of the next episode. And I think what we'll do is we'll head towards the first pre-season game, because this episode has probably gone on quite a bit. I'm not going to play the pre-season games, I will sim them, but I won't do that in this episode. We will do that at the beginning of the next episode, and then hopefully in the next episode as well, we will have our first Premier League game of the season, which is against Hull. So it's a battle of the two promoted sides to start off the Premier League season. So here we go, let's get Calvin Phillips in the door then. We can probably get him for about 3.3 million, the board reckons. I might go in with a 3.5. Hopefully Man City will accept that. Another cheap signing. Like, we've still got 81 million in the budget, so I'm really happy so far with what we've done. We've brought in decent quality, nobody amazing, but to fill up the squad, and I'm happy with everybody that we have brought in. 3.8, I'm quite happy to accept that. So hopefully now this should be Calvin Phillips through the door, and it probably will be the last signing of the episode. He wants important. Alright, he's going to be rotation, so he might complain, but again, I still think he'll play enough games that he should be happy with. Again, we're not going to pay 74,000 for him. I'm hoping he'll come down to 45. Actually, give him a sign-in on bonus of 300,000 as well. Again, he's happy with 45,000, but he wants a bit more signing on bonus. That is fine. And Calvin Phillips is our fourth sign-in? Either third or fourth sign-in. Let's advance now. I don't anticipate anyone else coming through the door before the end of the episode, but maybe more players will go out the door. Okay, so I just signed Calvin Phillips, and I just completely forgot that I had Downs in my squad. I don't know why, he just completely slipped my mind. So I didn't necessarily need to go and sign Calvin Phillips. Bit of an error on my end, I suppose, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with having more strength in the squad, I suppose, but he might not play as much as I originally thought he was going to. So yeah, like I said, if there's an injury or anything, at least we've got that option now. So yeah, and it wasn't like we spent loads on him. I suppose it was only about 3 million, so 3.8 million I think it was. So it is what it is. Let's advance and see what happens now before the end of the episode. Okay, there's confirmation of Will Smallbone going out the door then. To be fair, with Will Smallbone going out the door, then maybe having Calvin Phillips isn't such a problem as we first thought. So maybe he can play a bit more. But again, I still probably will sign someone to rotate with Fernandez. So yeah, anyway, like I said, I've gone through it. We've done what we've done. Calvin Phillips is in the squad, and Will Smallbone is out the squad. Okay, so Nathan Wood is heading out the door now on loan to Como, so happy with that. He will go and maybe get some football out in Italy, so yeah, that's that. I think we've had a couple more offers as well. No, that's Tacunya now changing to a cam, so we're going to go ahead and do that. So Tacunya's up to a 78 now as a cam. I'm happy with that. He's going to be, well, currently our starting cam because we don't have anybody else in that position yet. But classic 10. We are anticipating signing someone there. I just need to make a decision now on this left-hand side. But like I said, I will have a think between episodes, and we shall have a look at that at the beginning of the next one. I don't think there's anything else we need to look at now before we wrap this up. No, I think that is everything. So yeah, so I'm happy with what we've done so far in this episode. No gameplay obviously, but like I said, I don't want it to drag on too long, and we've had quite a bit of business to do. But in the next episode we will have that first game of the season. We'll sim through the pre-season friendly, and then we will have that first game of the season against Hull, and depending on how much more business we do in between, maybe another game. But again, I probably think that it probably will just be that one game in the next episode. But I'm hoping by the episode after that we will have done the majority of what we want to do in terms of, maybe even everything, hopefully, of what we want to do in regards of transfers. So yeah, so like I said, next episode then we will have the first Premier League game of the new season. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have, please remember to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss anything else from this series and my channel as we head into the Premier League season. But like I said, I'm happy overall with what we've done so far, and I shall see you in the next one. I've been Clonks. Take care, guys.